Hey everyone, Salem here, and welcome back to another Gloria Victis video. Today I want to go over what is essentially our roadmap for Gloria Victis, although it isn't exactly a roadmap, and I'll explain why here in a second. Please note that everything on this screen is tentative and can be enabled or disabled at any time by Black Eyed Game Studios. Now what do I mean by this is a roadmap but not really? Officially, the studio has not released anything titled a roadmap. What we do have is a what to do in Gloria Victis, and on the screen they have marked what is disabled and currently being worked on. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Over in group PvP, we have preparation to siege guild provinces. We will be able to bring a group and perform sabotage operations near the walls of an enemy guild castle to declare your intent to attack. This is the first stage of the fight for a guild castle, and we'll talk about guild castles a little later. Next up, the state of war, a massive siege that occurs at a guild castle requiring siege equipment and large numbers of well-equipped fighters. There have been wars with over 300 participants in a single location. Whole nations dedicate themselves to attacking and defending their guild castles. And for the record, as of March 1st, 2023, State of War is what is currently being worked on, and they have teased these 300 participant battles, which we are all looking forward to. Backing out, we're going to go look under construction, and this is where we talk about guild castles. So eventually, we will be able to build a guild castle. Guilds owning provinces can build their castles as they like. Now what I'm taking away from this is it sounds like guilds are going to be able to have their own guild base. Whether these guild castles are going to remain permanent on the map once they're built, therefore they can be taken over by other nations, or if you will have to demolish a guild castle that's already been built and then rebuild your own once that area is taken over, kind of remains to be seen. Moving on, we're going to look at economy, and we're actually going to touch on the market a little later, but for now, the guild castle goods. First off, warehouse. NPC workers place materials in the warehouse for players in the guild to collect. Watch out because enemies can kill your workers and steal the loot from the warehouse. So this sounds like auto farming. There is a debate within the community on whether resources need to be increased or if increasing them too far would make crafting overpowered. But it sounds like Black Eyed Games' compromise is this warehouse system where if you are in a larger guild who has a guild castle, you'll be able to get these materials fairly frequently. Next up are guild taxes. Guild castles provide access to the best crafting workshops and are the closest logistic point to the center of the map. The tax on these castle services fund the guild treasury. This system kind of reminds me of New World, where if your guild owns the town, you can set a tax rate which actually pays the guild and can be distributed between all of the guild members. That money is also used to pay for the upkeep of the town, and I wonder if they're going to do that for castles where if you don't pay the upkeep, your castle either degrades or you lose it all together. Last on this branch is the control of rich resource nodes. Guild castles have unparalleled access to a rich variety of resources. Guilds and nations control these fertile soils, rich mines, and high-quality sawmills for great profit. This is probably going to go back into the warehouse system as well, but it does sound like that if your guild controls that area where a rich resource node is, it will be readily available for everyone within your nation. And finally, over in diplomacy, we have guild castles once more. These sought after locations provide your nation with the best workshops, resources, and logistics locations. The guild owning it earns money for the use of its taxable services, and this goes back into crafting. So before we finish off, there's two things I wanted to touch on, and one in the economy bracket for market. Although it says everything in the market tab is completed, I would argue that the market system kind of needs an overhaul, and this is namely due to the auction house. Currently the auction house has poor sorting, glitches which don't allow you to put up a item for sale without re-clicking it 4 or 5 times. An overall refresh rate just is kind of horrendous across the board. Not only that, but it would be really helpful to see the current prices for an object you're trying to sell. That way you don't lowball or price it too high or undercut anybody. The auction house does currently let you see the average price, but for most people this is not helpful. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was in exploration. I don't believe it's actually in here anywhere, but if you go to the Gloria Victis website, they do talk about sailing and being able to actually do things while sailing, such as PvP battles or exploration. I don't know if this is an indication that they're abandoning the idea or if they just don't have information to share with us at the moment because of how far down sailing is on the list of development. Personally, I really hope they have sailing and they allow us to own our own ship or maybe have a guild ship, because I think sailing combat is really underrated and not in enough MMOs. And that's it for this video. I hope this was informative. I will have a link to this image in the description so you can browse it at your leisure. It is also on the main Steam page for Gloria Victis, where you can find it in the description of the game. That's all for now. This has been Salem. Have a great day, and please take care.